What's up, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Hope everybody's doing well. Make sure I got my volumes and everything else correct. I know it's been a minute since I have done a live. But with no further ado, I thought it was very imperative that I brought this particular content because I've been getting a lot of emails. I've been having a lot of women that have been reaching out to me. It's a lot of women who are stepmothers. They're in relationships with men who have children from previous marriages or previous relationships. And I've had a lot of women emailing me, and basically, a lot of women are very discouraged. They're to the point where they're becoming very frustrated with trying to even continue a relationship or a marriage, with the men that they're with, because it's just too much stress that comes along with being a step parent. And I, for one, I can definitely relate. I've been a step parent. I am still a stepmother. And it took me a lot of time. It took me a lot of years to really realize and understand that, there's always a way of dealing with situations in a sense to where you don't have to stress yourself, you don't have to overwhelm yourself, and it's always a solution to a problem. I don't care how bad it looks. And just keep in mind, what's up, Darius? Good to see you. Just keep in mind that you're not alone. It's a lot of women that are going through this. Also, for you guys, men who are also in this situation, being a stepfather does come with challenges, but it doesn't come with as many challenges as it does for women who have to deal with men who have children from previous relationships. What's up, my sister? It's good to see you. Um, yeah, so that's why I'm doing this content. I've been getting a lot of emails. Everybody's going through this stress of being a step parent. I've been getting a lot of women emailing me, and they're frustrated, they're getting irritated. It's a lot of chaos that comes along with being in a relationship with somebody who has children from a different relationship. And also, it's not just the women that go through it, the men are going through the situation, because when you're a man, you're in a situation where you're trying to get along with the mother of your child, and at the same time, you're trying to make sure you're on good terms with the woman that you're in a relationship with. So as a man, being in that situation, it's hard to try to please two women at the same time. So I understand the dynamics, that it can be very complicated. It can be very frustrating being a step parent, especially for women, because men, y'all don't really take each other through a lot. Men, when it comes to men dealing with other men, men are not catty individuals. So a man could be a stepfather, and a man doesn't have the same problems a woman would being a stepmother. That's just the way it is, because men, y'all just don't do all that cattiness. Y'all don't, push buttons like women do. You get what I'm saying? And men, y'all are not emotional human beings. So a man, y'all can kind of like deal with each other without the drama. But women, we just not gifted in that area yet, especially when it comes to these ex-wives and these baby mamas, because again, a lot of these women are still bitter. A lot of these women, your ex-wives, your ex-baby mamas, a lot of these women are still in their feelings, and that makes it difficult for the woman that you're in a relationship, or the new woman who you're trying to be with. Unfortunately, The new woman, we get caught up in a drive-by when it comes to dealing with these relationships when it has children involved. So basically, I'm going to be breaking down all of the elements as to what you can do as a step parent to avoid getting caught up in the chaos of dealing with being stuck in the middle of dealing with your husband or your fiance and his baby mama. You know what I mean? So it's different ways of dealing with the situation without having to stress yourself out and without becoming to the point to where you becoming a villain. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm definitely going to break down the elements of all of those things, how you could avoid and things that you can do to not get caught up in that situation. So without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and present to y'all the different elements. I'm going to go ahead and break down everything. Let me make sure I turn this down. Make sure my volume is not on. Okay, so just realize, you know, there are a lot of women out there that are still trying to figure out what is their place as a stepmother. So I'm going to break down all of the elements as to what you are supposed to do as a woman in a situation with a man that has children from a previous relationship. Now, the first thing is this: the first question you have to ask yourself: are you qualified to be a stepmother? Are you qualified? Are you ready to deal with the fact that you are going to have somebody else's children in your life for the rest of your life? Are you capable of dealing with that? Because let me tell you something. Once you get involved with the one, a man who has kids, and the same thing as a man, if you decide to get involved with the woman who has children, keep in mind this is going to become your problem as well. Whether you want to deal with the problem or not, it is still going to be your problem, one way or another. So you have to ask yourself, as a man and as a woman, are you ready to deal with becoming a step parent? What's up, cool gents? Good to see you. How's it going? This is a question you have to ask yourself. Are you ready to deal with being a substitute parent to somebody else's children until these children become grown? Um, yeah, exactly, my sincere. And it's very important because I'm telling you, I was one of those women. I did not want to deal with a man who had children. And I've said this numerous occasions. I did not want a man. That was one of my main requirements in my resume. I did not want to deal with the man who had children. Okay. And the unfortunate part was all the guys that I dated who did not have children, I was not able to connect with them. There was no chemistry. There was no connection. And it so happened that the only man that I did have chemistry with or connection with was a man who had children. The main thing I did not want to deal with, it, I had to deal with it. And that's why I feel it's very important that women, even if you know you'll never deal with the situation, like you said, you just don't know what the future holds. You don't know what you're going to deal with. Because I'm telling you, I was very adamant. I did not want to deal with somebody who had kids. But again, you don't know what you're going to face in the future. The things we say we're never going to deal with, we never want to deal with, somehow, some way, you end up dealing with those same challenges. And believe it or not, my sincere and cool gent, it's going to be harder and harder to date someone that doesn't have children. The older you get, the harder it's going to be to find someone who does not have children. To be honest with you, because I'm almost in my 40s too. You get what I'm saying? So the older we get, it's going to be less and less chances of you finding somebody who don't have kids, just to keep it 100. Cool, I don't have any children myself, so many children out here are pregnant by. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part, y'all. That's the unfortunate part. You can live your life the right way. You can be smart. You can be wise and not randomly go have children all kind of way. But the bad part is, no matter how right you try to live your life, you may end up involved with somebody who did not make the best of decisions with choosing a parent like you did. And that's the bad part. You know what I mean? So it's very important, like you stated, knowing your worth. Because the sad part is some people out there who don't know their worth. It's men out there who have to have children from women that were not mother material, and you've had females out of being desperate and being vulnerable who have decided to have children for men, these dusties, these builder bums, and not looking to the future. So just keep in mind that unfortunately, no matter how wise you are, it's some people out there, they don't get it. They don't know what to look for. They overlook all of the signs and they end up getting caught up. Marriage was, yeah, I totally agree. So these are the things you have to, these are the questions you have to ask yourself. Are you qualified to be a step parent? That's the first thing. If you know you are not, I would rather you walk away. And I don't care how much you might like that person, how much you are attracted to that person. If you know you are a man or a woman, you can't do nobody's kids. Save yourself the headache and save that person a favor. Don't even waste your time connecting with them, bonding with them. Because if you're connecting with somebody and you know you don't care for children, you're going to become very aggravated in that situation. And you don't want to put yourself in that situation. So, the reason why I said that's the first question you need to ask, are you qualified of being a stepmother or step parent? The issue that comes with that, are you prepared to come in second at times? Are you prepared to come in second? This is one of the disadvantages of dealing with somebody who has children from a previous relationship. Are you willing to come in second? Because the truth of the matter is, children come first. And they're supposed to. So basically, if you are in a relationship with a man or woman who has children, and something comes up with that child, something, an emergency, or something comes up, that person, you cannot make that person choose their children or you. It won't be fair. It wouldn't be legit. So keep in mind, if you're dealing with somebody who has children, and you, for instance, you and that person may have made plans to go out of town, to travel, or do something together as a couple. That child gets sick, or God forbid, something happens to their mother, something happens to their father, then guess what? You have to put your personal feelings aside and have to allow that person to have a connection with that child. That is how deep it gets. This is the things people need to think about before they get involved with people who have children. Because it's going to be times where you're going to come last. Because you cannot make somebody put their kids behind you. People, they have a right to make sure their children come first. If you're one of those people, you want to be in a relationship where you want to come first, you have to keep in mind that's not going to happen if somebody has children. And yes, 𝐜𝐡𝐚'𝐬, it is that deep. That's why I'm doing this content, because it's a lot of people out there that are getting involved in relationships with people who got children, and they're not thinking all the way through. They're not realizing, God forbid, if that child's mother or father dies, do you not realize that child may have to move in with y'all? Do you not realize that child gets sick or something like that? You know, whatever you and him have planned or whatever, guess what? That stuff is going to be put on the back burner because people are going to put their kids first. And if you don't want to deal with somebody who's going to put their kids first, do not get involved with somebody who has children. Okay, so that's the other point. The next point is, are you willing to deal with the fact that whenever there comes to a decision for that child, that you wanted him, or let me see, because I got my notes all messed up. Are you willing to deal with the fact that whenever it comes to a decision for a child, that you wanted him or her not to be the only ones allowed to make the decision? Okay, basically, if you're dealing with somebody who has a child, do you not realize that whatever decisions happen, whatever, when it comes to any decisions for that child, do you not realize you and your companion, y'all don't get to make any decisions unless you get that other parent to say so? In other words, if you are a woman and you're dealing with a man who has a child, that child gets sick, or that child has problems in school, do you not realize that you and him cannot make no decisions without getting the consent of that mother? And the same thing with you stepdads out there. Do you not realize that if something happens with that child, you and the mother of that child, y'all cannot make no decisions unless she gets consent from that father? This is the other part about being a step parent. You cannot make decisions for somebody else's child unless you get that both parents to be on the same accord. And that can be very challenging. Darius says, my stepson is adult now and we get along great. When he was younger, the most horrible thing was here. You ain't my real. And Darius, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a lot of step parents that have been slapped in the face with that phrase. And it is a very painful jab in the mouth, especially when you've been a step parent and you have put money and time to that child, and that child tells you, you ain't my real daddy or you ain't my real mother. It can be very, very devastating. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's people out here who need to understand that sometimes you take a gamble taking care of somebody else's child, because that same child could turn around and disrespect you and say, you're not my real mom, you're not my real daddy, I don't have to respect you. And I totally get it. And the reason why I can get it, because I've been both. I've been the stepchild and I've been a stepmother. And I am a stepmother. So I've been on both sides of the fence. And Darius, I actually told my stepmother that. When I got upset with her and me and my father had a spat, a disagreement, and she tried to put her 2 cents in, I told her, you are not my mother. This is a family. This is a family issue. And that's exactly what I told her. And believe it or not, me and her are very cool to this day. We're very close now. But back then, I told her, you're not my mom. This is a family discussion. And I knew when I made that statement to her, it really made her mad. It upset her. It pissed her off. And she told me that her reply back was, regardless of how you feel about me, I'm still the woman of this house, and you're going to respect my rules, whether you feel like I'm your real mother or not. What's up, Zero? What's up, Jeremy? How y'all doing? It's good to see y'all. Yeah, I'm talking about people out here that are step parenting, the elements and the things that you need to look into, the things you need to be cautious of, on the strength of being with somebody that has children from a previous relationship. That's basically on today's menu, because I've been getting too many emails, especially from women, that's telling me, I'm going through this with my husband, baby mama. I'm going through this with my husband, fiance. And then I know it's a lot of you guys out there too. Y'all have kids from other relationships. And some of you guys, not all of you, but some of you guys are allowing your baby mamas to get away with saying too much, disrespect your wives, disrespect your current mates. It's too much that be going on with these blended families. It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of drama, because people don't know their place. And sometimes you men, you allow your baby mamas to get out of line with your current girlfriend. And some of you women, y'all allow y'all baby daddies to get out of line with your husband. So it go both ways. But as I stated, you men are not too much it's not too much baby daddy drama. Most men don't care if another man is involved in his child's life, as long as the man ain't abusing or hurting their child. Most men don't make it a big deal. But for a lot of you women, these ex-wives and these ex-baby mamas, they're gonna always make it a big deal. What's up, Poetic Kales? Good to see you, hon. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, I'm doing good, Zero. So that's why I'm doing this content, because it's too many people sending me emails saying, I'm tired of being a stepmother. I want to give up. I want to leave my relationship because it's too much getting out of hand. My husband's not defending me, or my wife is not defending me. So that's why I'm doing this content, because the truth of the matter is, y'all, even if you don't have kids, it's going to be harder and harder to find somebody that doesn't have children. So the chances of you getting in a relationship and not being a stepmother or stepfather is going to become more and more slim, because the older we get, the more chances you're going to run into somebody that has children. Because I was one of those women. I did not want a man with kids. And I've said this before. I did not want a man with kids because I knew the drama that came along with the baby mama drama thing. I did not want to deal with it. But the truth of the matter is, none of us know what the future holds. Your mind may be telling you, I don't want to deal with nobody who got kids. I'll never deal with a man or woman who got kids. And that may be true. You may be one of those ones. You may really stick with what you believe in. But You never know how life and how love is going to happen, because I dated guys who did not have children, but I did not connect with them. There was no chemistry. I dated guys who did not have no kids, and I'm like, okay, I thought that I had a handle on relationships. And then as time went on and I dated the guys for a while, even though they didn't have no children, there was no chemistry. We ended up not connecting. So sometimes the main thing that you don't want to deal with ends up working for you. You can have your type in mind. I want this type of man. I want this type of woman. I want this type of relationship. I want a man with no kids, A+ credit, owns his own law firm, well dressed, got good stroke game in the bedroom, knows how to cook, knows how to aim when he's peeing without pissing on the seats of the toilet. We want this type of perfection. All of us got all these preferences, and the same thing. It's a lot of these men, y'all got your preferences of what kind of woman. You don't want her overweight. You want her wearing her real hair. You don't want her wearing false nails. You don't want her with no kids. You want her to be highly educated. You don't want her getting full stamps of Section 8 or child support. All of these preferences, these unrealistic preferences. The truth of the matter is, the type you have in mind, you're not going to get the type you have in mind. I'm gonna just be honest with you, and that's why a lot of y'all are disappointed, and a lot of y'all can't get a real relationship, because y'all have all these unrealistic expectations. I'm sorry, sis, you're not going to find that perfect man that you wrote a list on. And the same thing for you guys. You're not going to get that perfect list. That woman that you already got planned in your mind, you're not going to get her. I'm just being honest. She's going to have some kind of faults. She's going to have flaws. Even if she has the majority of what you want, there's going to be something about her that you're not going to like. And you just have to be honest with that. It's too many of us with these unrealistic expectations. I understand you got standards. I'm not saying that you should go against your standards to accommodate somebody. It's okay to have standards. It's okay to not want to deal with somebody who don't have kids. I get it. It's okay to not deal with somebody who's been married 3, 4, 5 times. We all have standards. But what I'm telling you is, the reality is, the person you really, really want, you're not going to get. The person who is your type, you're not going to be their type. I'm just going to be frank and tell you that. All the dudes that I was checking for, guess what? They was not checking for me. And the same thing with you guys. You got all these types of what kind of woman you want. The woman you want, she may not want you. And the same thing with you ladies out there. The man you want, he may not want you. He may not even be interested in you. What's up, Rep? How you doing? What's good? Welcome to the chat. What's up? What's up? Good to see you. Right. You might say what you want because of the man. I'm telling you, they say opposites attract. Sometimes the main thing you don't want be the thing that end up working for you. I mean, that's just the way it is, because what a lot of men and women. What's up, Prince? What's up? Good to see you. One of my class clowns is in the building. Prince O'Mill. What's up, Prince? I call him my clown chat. He always got jokes. Between him, Rep, and Freelance, those are my chat class clowns. Yeah. Prince, I'm gonna also make you a moderator as well. I'm gonna give you a wrench today or whatever. So the next time you come back on here, you'll have a wrench. You and Poetic, I'm gonna give both of y'all make y'all become moderators. My real love is something, and that's just the truth of the matter. It sounds like a cliche, but what a lot of people have to realize is, just because a person fits your credentials, it does not mean y'all are going to connect. Why y'all think all of these couples in Hollywood, why do y'all think the divorce rates are so high? Because what y'all are not understanding is money, fame, even the most good credentials does not mean y'all are going to connect. It does not mean y'all are fit for each other. I don't care if he makes money and you make good money. And in your mind, you may say, okay, he's making good money. I'm making good money. I got a career. We got a career. We should connect. Absolutely not. Your credentials does not automatically bring you chemistry. And you have to keep up with the reality of that. That's just the way it is. That's why a lot of y'all are disappointed. You trying to make somebody's credentials connect with yours, and it does not connect. Just because you're a millionaire, that don't mean you belong to another millionaire. That don't mean that. Your millions is not going to connect the both of you. And that's just the reality of it. Okay, so anyway, I know I'm digressing, I'm all over the place, but I'm talking to everybody about the issue with step parenting and the things you have to be cautious of, because you know, some of you may never end up in situations where you have to be a step parent, and some of you are in that situation. But even if you never plan on step parenting somebody else's child, it's still important to have knowledge. That way, if in the event you be presented with a relationship and somebody has children, you will know what to expect and what you need to consider and take in mind before getting too deeply involved with somebody who has children. You just clocked out the plantation. My old job was the plantation. I know that feeling. I definitely understand that feeling, Kels. But I'm not getting a woman with kids, especially. And I agree with that, Rep. And that's why I stated you still supposed to have your preferences. And you know, the content is to not persuade anybody to go against what they believe in, but it's for those who may end up going against what they believe, if that makes any sense to you, Rep. I just want to prepare people who may end up in that situation, or who is in that situation, or who may come upon that situation. They still need to be educated and know this is the shit you're gonna have to deal with if you get involved with somebody who has kids, even if you never plan on doing it. But you need to be prepared, because like I said, I didn't want anybody with kids, and I ended up in a situation where I got involved with somebody who had kids. You know what I mean? So but that's what it is, not to persuade. And I would recommend, and I'll tell anybody, be honest with you, if you're not, if it's best to stick to your principles, because sometimes when you go against them, you end up biting off more than you can chew. So you have to be very, very careful when you go against what you believe in. So that's what it's for, because it's too many people been sending me emails about being a step parent. It's a lot of women, more so it's the women that are more miserable than the men with step parenting, you know. So because again, men, y'all are not as dramatic as women are. Now for all of you stepmoms, if you're a stepmom, or you're thinking about becoming a stepmom, or whatever the case is, you need to know your place as a stepmother, which means you are an assistant to the companion. Your job is to assist, not take over. The reason I say that it is important that you know how to assist versus taking over is because you don't want to bite off more than you could afford to chew. Now, some of these women are some of you women are very territorial when it comes to your husband. Some of you women are really, really, really extra, you know, and I get it. I'm a married woman, and I know when it comes to being married, I think people settle because we know. Absolutely, Rep. Of course, a lot of people will settle. When people reach that level of desperation, they will let go of all of their standards just so they can be with somebody. So you're definitely telling the absolute truth, Rep, on that. Because yes, people will let go of their principles, knowing good damn well they need to be sticking to their guns and not getting involved with something they know they can't handle. So at least, Rep, you're being honest about it, because a lot of people will get involved in these relationships knowing they're not cut out to deal with somebody else's kids. So I can respect honesty when somebody says, you know what, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with nobody who got kids. I can respect that 100%. But for those of you who may end up in that situation, you need to be educated about what to look for, because you can be definitely putting in more work than you could afford to handle. You get what I'm saying? So for all of y'all, for all of you step parents, or thinking about step parents, or if you are in a situation, what y'all, again, especially women, because like I stated, especially married women, y'all can be very territorial with y'all husbands. Y'all can be very territorial to the point to where anytime your husband has a confrontation or a situation with his baby mama, you automatically want to get involved and you want to put his baby mama in her place because you feeling like that's my husband, that's my man. I don't like, ain't no other woman need to be talking to him all kind of way. Well, I'll get it to a certain extent, but you have to realize that she was there first, and the way him and her communicate, they've probably been communicating like that for years, way before you even came in the picture. It comes a point that even as women, we have to realize you cannot fight all of your husband's battles. You cannot fight all of your fiance's battles. And the same thing with you men out there. Your baby mama, if you're dealing with a woman who has kids, and that again, this content is for people who are in a situation or thinking about being in a situation. You have to realize if her and her baby daddy get into it, as long as he ain't putting his hands on her, as long as he's like not blatantly disrespecting her, if they argue to get into it, you don't have to jump in and come to her defense every time there's an issue. But again, a lot of men don't do this. It's more so the women that got this problem. It's so many women, especially you wives or you new wives, the moment your husband has a spat with his baby mama, you want to run in and jump in and get involved. And my thing is sometimes you have to let these men fight their own battles. That's just your husband. That is not your child, your son. You got to protect him and run to his rescue every time him and his baby mama have a spit spat. Let him and her work it out. As long as he's not, as long as she's not crossing the line, she's not busting up to your house disrespecting him, she's not like, just really extreme drama over the top. You don't have to fight your husband's battles. And a lot of these wives, they get so territorial with their husbands. The moment it's a little issue, they want to jump in and get involved. I mean, let them deal with it however they got to deal with it. Because 9 times out of 10, they've been dealing with each other that way before you got in the picture. So that's one thing you have to understand. Is sometimes you got to let the man fight his own battles when it comes to the baby mama. Unless he comes to you and say, look, I done tried everything. I don't know what to do. Maybe you can talk to her. And even then you have to have some type of discretion. Exactly. And that's my whole point, Kels. There's too many women that are territorial with their men. You cannot fight all of his battles. Every time a woman in his face, let him be a man and handle it himself. Unless he really acts like he just don't know what the hell he doing, then your intuition may lead you to getting involved. But for the most part, let these men fight their own battles, man. I mean, just let them handle it. Black men with their own legacy to leave behind. That's why most women don't realize it's not fair to the man. And I agree, 𝐜𝐡𝐚'𝐬. I agree 100%. Now, as I stated, he may be your husband or your companion, but he's not your son. You cannot protect him from every tiny thing and every tiny encounter or drama that he has with the mother of his child. You don't always have to get involved because it's not only does it create drama, but you end up putting more on yourself just by getting involved in the chaos. Sometimes I just want to rub the fact that they the wife and the baby. Absolutely, and that's a point that I'm definitely going to bring up into this content. So that's a good point you brought up, because that's actually one of the points that I'm going to be making further on as I go into the content. Now, the next thing is, as a step parent, if you're going to get involved but deal with somebody else's children, don't give more than you could afford to lose. Because if you put yourself out there too much and you don't get any appreciation in return, that's the more you're going to resent your companion, and that's the more you may resent the child. Now, Darius mentioned earlier in his chat room that the mother, that his stepson told him, "You're not my dad." And that happens a lot. That happens. Sometimes you can be there for somebody else's child, and that child will turn around and disrespect you and say, "You're not my mama. You're not my dad. You ain't never did nothing for me." So keep in mind that sometimes you can take a gamble by putting yourself out there. You're taking care of this child. You're spending time with this child. If that child has not been taught by their mother or their father to be grateful and appreciative of what other people do for them, that child may have the audacity to turn around and disrespect you even after you don't put so much of your time, money, and energy into being there for them. And again, that's why you have to, it's very important that you monitor how that child is raised. If the baby, if the mother of that child is full of drama and chaos, 9 times out of 10, she's going to instill those same qualities into that child. I've seen it one too many times. Exactly, Rep. And that's why a lot of people don't want to get involved, because honestly, I will tell you, it's very, it's very, it's not a good feeling. When you go all out your ways for somebody else's child, and not only is the mother of that child ungrateful, and that's to be expected, especially if she's a bitter ass bitch, she's not going to be appreciative anyway. But it's even more worse if that child is just as ungrateful as that mother. And this is true, Rep. That's the chance you take. Now, you have some cases in which you may get lucky, you may get blessed, and the mother of that child may be real cool. She may be easy to get along with. She done taught her child how to be grateful and mannerable. That child knows how to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That child is, you know, mannerable and well spoken and knows how to respect their elder. Then God has blessed you. But that's not always the case with all step parents. Some of these children are rude, disrespectful, and nasty, and a lot of it has to do with the person that's raising them. If you have a bitter baby mama, that bitter baby mama is going to instill those same bitter character traits in that child. And that's the part you have to be cautious of as a step parent. Now, if you have a good husband or a good wife, if they care anything about you, they're not going to allow their child to disrespect you. Period, point blank. And this is not to say that because you put your child in place for disrespecting your husband or your wife, that you're putting that man first. Because in actuality, if once y'all married, guess what? Your husband or your wife, they do come first before that child, whether y'all want to accept it or not. Now, if y'all boyfriend and girlfriend, okay, then it may not make a difference. But even within, there's a fine line, especially when that man is contributing and paying the bills in the house, and that woman is doing her part as a woman to mother your child. They still should have a say so. But especially more so, once y'all are married, your child doesn't come first. The needs of that wife or that husband comes first. If your husband or your wife says, "Babe, I'm not cool with that. I'm not trying to deal with that. No, that child just can't come over here unannounced." Yo, you got to respect that. There is no my child comes first. If you wanted your child to come first, you should have never married that man or married that woman. That's the order. The chain of command changes once you get married. Okay. And the part is the child is going to have a hard time accepting that, because children do not know how marriage works. So a child is not going to understand why daddy is doing what my stepmama say do and I'm his daughter, or why is daddy doing what stepmama say do, I'm his son. You cannot expect a child to understand that unless that mother or that father explains to them, yes, you are my daughter, you are my son, but I have to respect what my wife or my husband says. And that's the bottom line. So again, people need to know their position when it comes to these blended families. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we got so much problems in the Black community when it comes to these blended families is because people don't know their damn place. You got the baby mamas that's trying to act like the wives. Then you got the wives that feel like they don't have to respect nothing the baby mother say. Then you have the men who don't know how to keep things. He don't know how to mediate. He don't know how to keep these women from bumping heads and clashing. And it's a lot of mess. It's a lot of chaos because people don't know their position. Even more so now, because again, these baby mamas, they think because they don't had a child that their word comes first and their word is more valuable. And that is not true. Once the father of your child become in a new relationship, and especially once he's married, you do not have that the rights or the entitlement to say what should and what shouldn't be done. Now, even when it comes to your children, there's a fine line. Because the problem is when it comes to kids, these baby mamas, they think whatever they say is supposed to go automatically. And that is not the case. Just because you have a child from a man, you cannot place stipulations and say, well, this is me and his child. The hell with what your wife feel, the hell with your girlfriend feel. It does not go that way, because when your child comes around, do you not understand that that child may be left in the care of the woman you don't like or the man you don't like? So if you don't respect that that woman has a say so, even though she's not the mother, the biological mother, or he's not biological father of that child, that you're actually going to create a very negative atmosphere, because you're teaching that child that they don't have to respect their stepfather or their stepmother. Just because you don't like the stepmother or you don't like the stepfather, that does not give you the right to teach that child to disrespect their father's or mother's companion. You teach that child to be respectful to any adult at all times. You don't teach that child to hate because you hate. You don't teach that child to be disrespectful because you're in your feelings. That is totally out of line. You out of pocket for all of you who are doing this. You're way out of pocket. Okay, so no, there is something women, and that's just the truth of the matter. You don't get to decide everything. You know what I mean? So you have to know your place. And the problem is, in the Black community, when it comes to blended families, people do not know their place. They don't. And then now, if it's not the baby mamas that's out of control, it's the stepmamas. They completely want to take over, and they feel like because they're married to the child's father, that they don't have to take the child's feelings into consideration at all. That may be your husband now, but you got to realize those kids was there first. You know what I mean? So people need to know their place and know their position, and we won't have the problems that we have when it comes to these blended families. Now, this is the next point. uh if it becomes too overwhelming, know how to distance yourself and still be involved at the same time. Meaning, do your part, but don't overdo it. As a step parent, when you see you're not being appreciated and you're not being respected for what you do, that is your key to know to back up and to start allowing whatever needs to be done. Let your companion and the mother of his child, you leave it on them to do. Because my thing is, it is not fair for people to want you to get involved in a child's life, but at the same time, they can disrespect you. It don't go that way. And I will tell all of these bitter baby mamas out here the same thing. You cannot disrespect the woman that is with the father of your child, but then you want her to get involved when you want her to get involved. Like, in other words, it's okay for that child to come over to your house over the weekends when you want to run the streets, you want to hit the club, you want to do you. But the moment that stepmother wants to put her foot down and says your child is getting out of pocket, your child needs to be disciplined, you want to get offended when the woman is telling you, your child is being disrespectful. Now, who does that? You can't be cool with a person being involved in your child's life, but the moment they tell you they got a problem with your child, you get offended. It does not work that way. And it's too many of these bitter baby mamas in the Black community, they're doing that. They do not want the stepmother to have any type of say so, but it's okay for her to keep that child. It's okay for her to spend money on that child. It's okay for her for that child to benefit, but you don't think that child need to respect that woman or respect that man that's step parenting them? That it doesn't. No, you cannot do that. If your child could benefit off of their step parent, that step parent should have the right to be able to have a say so to a certain degree, as long as within reason. A lot of times the kid have to get used to it, so it can be very hard in the beginning. So, and it does take a lot of time. It really does. I tell anybody who's becoming a step parent for the first time, it does take a lot of time. The kids are not going to adjust overnight. They're you have to realize it's new to them, and situations like this is new to everybody. It's new to the baby mama because she's used to having a baby daddy to herself. She's used to the baby daddy jumping to her rescue every time she called him with a problem. Then it's new to the child because the child has to bounce back and forth between both houses. The child has to go one weekend to the daddy house, then next weekend back to the mama house. So the child is constantly transacting, transferring between several two houses, and the rules are different. So that's a change within itself. And then for you men, where it becomes complicated for y'all is because you have to try to please two women. You have to try to get along with the mother of your child, and then you got to get along with your current companion or the woman that you're currently with, your current wife or fiance. So as the man, it is very important that you be the mediator to the best of your ability. In other words, the mother of your child should not be disrespecting your wife. The wife should not be disrespecting your baby mama. Really, you men, y'all set the tone to a big degree. If you're going to go out there and get involved in a relationship, knowing you have children from a previous relationship, you have to be the one to keep everything in alignment, keep everything in order. In other words, you do not need to allow your baby mama to come over to your house anytime unannounced just because y'all have a child together. You have to place rules. You have to set boundaries. Your wife cannot just overstep her boundaries anytime it comes to the mother. Anytime it comes to the mother of that child or that child. Everybody has to know they have restrictions. Nobody can't just do what they want to do when they feel like doing it. Like I said, I've been married for 19 years. And my husband had two kids from a previous relationship. And it took a really, really long time for everybody to know their place with the situation. Because these ex-wives, they think they could do whatever they want to do just because they had their kids there first. Their attitude is, well, my kids was there before you. Yeah, but the thing is, now I'm here and I am the woman in the house. I run this castle. You don't get to do what you want to do just because y'all have children together. So people need to know their place. But at the same time, if you see your place is not being respected, that is when you, as the adult, you have to back up and say, you know what? Since they want to take it upon themselves and they want to handle it without my consent, without taking my feelings into consideration, then guess what? Y'all are going to handle it on y'all own from here on out. Don't ask me to babysit. Don't ask me to pick up nobody's child. Don't ask me to do nothing for y'all child, since neither one of y'all respect my feelings. Since you think as the baby mama, you can do what the hell you want, and you think because I'm your wife and because I decided to be with you, knowing you had children, that I'm just going to go along with whatever the hell you and her want to do, I tell you what, don't ask me to do nothing, because it's going to come a point in time they're going to need you to be there. And because they have disrespected you, you would be the fool to still stick your neck out there on the line, knowing that they have not respected you and they have not taken any of your feelings into consideration. And that's just what it boils down to. Exactly. Everybody has to know their place. We all the grown folks here. Your baby mama should not be imposing on me and come to my house anytime she wants just because y'all had little JJ together. Okay? Your wife cannot always just do what she wants to do as she wants to do it too. It's called communication. Everybody has to know their position in a situation. And once people get out of alignment, That is when somebody has to be the adult and nip it in the bud before it gets too far out of hand. And that's what it boils down to. Now, this is the other point. If your companion goes against what you say for the sake of pleasing the mother, allow him to do it by himself. Most likely it will backfire on his behalf because at the end of the day, women know women. And then in his mind, he may think he has her figured out because she's the mother of his child. Now, a lot of you men, y'all make this mistake. I'm not saying all men do this. So if it does not apply, you have to reply. But some of you men who are in a situation with being in a new relationship and you got kids from a previous relationship, the problem is a lot of you men, y'all swear y'all know the mothers of y'all children. Y'all swear y'all know y'all baby mama. Y'all swear because y'all had a child by these women. Y'all swear y'all know them. Y'all swear that y'all got them figured out. And like I had to tell my husband, you do not know the mother of your child like you think you do. Because women, nobody knows a woman like another woman. And nobody knows a man like a man. You know, only women, we got to wait a read on women. You know, so if your wife or your fiance is telling you that they see your baby mama is manipulating you or running game on you, she's trying to be slick or she's up to no good, if your companion is telling you that, take heed to it because you got to realize women know other women. I don't care if you in your mind you feel like, well, your wife really don't know your baby mama like you know her, or your wife is just jealous, or whatever the case is. A woman can read another woman. We can tell when a woman is being malicious. We can tell when a woman is being cooperative. Trust what a woman tells you, especially if she's has your best interest. As a man, you have to know when your wife, you have to know when your fiance or your companion, know when she has your best interest, and know when she is just telling you stuff because she's trying to manipulate you. You have to be wise enough as a grown man to know when your wife is trying to help you versus she's trying to hinder you. So if your companion or your fiance is telling you your baby mama is doing something, take heed to that. And I'm not saying side exactly with the wife because she's your wife, but if your wife has given you something, you need to look into that situation and trust that whatever that wife is telling you, she is seeing something out of alignment. Because the same thing with my husband, I had to school him to a lot of things. I saw when his ex-wife was being malicious. I saw when she was trying to pull a fast one, when she was trying to manipulate him. And a part of him, he just didn't want to see that because he wasn't looking at it from my standpoint of being a woman. So he really couldn't understand where I was coming from. But I had to break it down and make him understand and say, look, she's doing this, she's doing that. The reason she's doing this is because she's trying to get you to do this and that. So trust when your companion is telling you something, especially when you know they don't have any ill will. Because when you don't listen, things have a way of backfiring. I have seen women who have told their husbands time and time again stuff about their baby mamas. And these men have ignored their wives, ignored their companions, and figured, oh, she ain't like that. She ain't gonna do nothing. She just acting up. And to go through all of that, and that woman, the mother of their child, burnt them when they least expected it. When they least saw it coming, just what their wives and girlfriends tried to warn them of, it comes right back to blow up in their face every time. Like I said, if you have a good woman and she's giving you some knowledge, she's schooling you, she's preparing you for the game, she's preparing you for the schemes and the scams, take heed to what she's saying. And the same thing with you women who got children from previous relationships. If your husband or your boyfriend is telling you something about your baby father, he's a man. He's telling you because from a man, he can tell based on that man's actions that that man is manipulating you or running game on you. Sometimes people can see things that you can't see. People can see things from a far distance better than you can see it close up. Sometimes when you are in a situation, you can't see the situation for what it truly is. So if your mate, your wife, your husband is telling you something about your baby mama, baby daddy, just at least take it into consideration before you just write it off, because you don't want to come back and blow up in your face. And this is another thing as women, for all you stepmothers out there, some men are hard-headed. Sometimes it's hard as it is. You have to sit back and you have to allow him to make his poor decisions. The truth of the matter is, some people, you have to realize, some people, some men could be kind of stubborn. Not all men are stubborn, but I'm just saying the majority of men, sometimes y'all can be stubborn when it comes to the mother of y'all children. Y'all really think y'all have things under control. You really think, oh, she'll never burn me, she'll never hurt me. Oh, I'm the father of her child. Some of you men are kind of oblivious to the fact that the mother of your child doesn't always mean you well. The mother of your child does not always have your best interests. You know what I mean? So can we get 1,000 subscribers with no videos? Okay, I don't know if that's spam or what. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to go ahead and block that person because I don't know what that is. That is like spam or something. I can't pinpoint it. But anyway, some of you men, y'all are stubborn. Several times I tried to warn my husband when I seen his ex-wife doing stuff or pulling all kind of tricks up her sleeve. I would constantly try to warn him, because me being a woman, I can read when another woman is pulling something slick, or she's lying, or she's manipulating. And sometimes, at times he would ignore me and would do the opposite of what I told him, and it came back and it backfired. And he would have to come back and tell me, you know what, you was right. You told me this was going to happen, that was going to happen, whatever. So sometimes you men, y'all have to stop being so stubborn and realize that, sometimes we tell you stuff, we tell you for your own good. This is the next thing. Another point I want to make. If she's turning the kids against you, realize it is her. Know the difference when it is the child and when it is the mother. When a child reaches a certain age, no longer they should be able to still be manipulated, especially when they see you are doing the opposite of what the mother has programmed them to believe about you. Now, keep in mind, for all of my people out there that are step parents or thinking about becoming step parents, realize if that child is acting some type of way, or that child is being disrespectful, or that child is acting out of pocket, it may not be so happen is that child that's doing that. It may be that parent that's pulling them by the string like a puppet, because you have a lot of bitter baby mamas out there that are very conniving. They will teach their child not to like the new woman or not to like the new man. Some of these baby mamas and some of these baby daddies, but it's more so the baby mamas, because like I said, there's not too many men that are messy. I very rarely hear baby daddy drama, but I constantly hear baby mama drama. So my thing is, when a child is acting out and saying rude things like, "You not my mama, you not my daddy," think about where that's coming from. Really think about it. Especially when you've been nice to that child, you've been respectful to that child, you treated that child like your own. For a child to come out their mouth and say that, somebody's brainwashing. You should be able to discern when it is the mother and when it is the child. You know what I mean? So if you know it's the child, if it's the mother that's making that child turn against you, you need to address that with the parent that you are married to. You need to talk to your husband if that child is being disrespectful, because that's on him to correct that situation. You should not be forced to have to correct that situation, because that's their child. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to discipline that child. That is for your husband or your wife to do. So just keep in mind that, especially if that child is young and under like 10 years old or whatever, you know that child could be manipulated. Now, let's say if the child is over 16 years old and they're talking back to you like that, even though 80% of it may be the mother influencing them, but the other 20% is the fact that they are just disrespectful as hell. And when you are dealing with a child that's disrespecting you, that is when you, as a step parent, you have to start pulling back and start going all out your way for somebody else's child when they're being disrespectful and ungrateful, especially when you're doing for them and you're taking care of them. The next step is this: don't discipline, but direct. Never get to the point where you have to beat somebody else's child. Now, how many times we look on YouTube, we look on the news, we see that stepfather that has hurt the child. There was something recently where the mother, she's a young female like that, she actually killed the guy that she was with. She killed his 4-year-old daughter, all because she was just so jealous of the fact that this man had another child before they had any children together. And adding so the injury, she already had kids from him. And she still turned around and killed his 4-year-old. So keep in mind, guys, you got kids. Some of these women are just as crazy as these dudes out here. You cannot allow people to get too close to your children because everybody don't have the best of intentions. Um, so that's just something you have to keep in mind. To me personally, whenever I feel like somebody else's child is disrespecting me, for one, I'm not going to put my hands on you because I'm not trying to go to jail and do time for somebody else's disrespectful ass child. But what I will do is I will politely drop you back off to your parent, because my thing is, at the end of the day, you're not my problem. I'm not about to allow somebody else's child to become my problem. I'm just not going to. It should never get to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where you have to get down and fight somebody else's child because somebody else's child disrespects you. It should never get to that point. What's up, Gab? Appreciate you for coming in. I think I took on the role of granddad, stepdaddy, and the woman still did them in the end. Yeah, and that's a gamble, rep. That's a gamble. That's the bad part. You can help somebody with their kids, and they can turn around and do you in. It's a gamble. It's a gamble either way it go. But just keep in mind that relationships are a gamble, period. Because you can deal with somebody who never had kids. You can deal with a man or a woman. You help that man get on his feet. You help that woman get on their feet. When they had a pot to piss in or when to throw it out of. And as soon as you help them to get to where they are, they will leave you like you never did nothing for them. So love is really a gamble, because you can take a chance and go all out your way to help somebody get on their feet, and they can turn around and do you in. It happens. It happens. So that's why you really have to take your time and really get to know somebody before you start playing stepmom and stepdaddy to their kids, because these are the same people that can turn around and do you in. I've seen it. I've seen it happen so many times, and it's a very scary thing. It's a sticky situation. That's why you really, really, really have to take the time to get to know somebody before you get in too deep with them. So to me, if you're having a problem with somebody's child as a step parent, as a stepmother, never get to the point where you're putting your hands on somebody else's child. You fighting somebody else's child. You cussing somebody else's child. It get that bad. You have the decision to walk away, or you mention that to the father of that child, whoever you're with. If you're with the mother of that child, you're with the father of that child, you go to them and you get them to handle. Because sometimes these kids are very manipulative. These kids will sit up here and lie and say, oh, my stepdaddy hit me. Oh, my stepmama hit me. I mean, some of these kids are they can be very conniving. So you got to protect yourself, Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to discipline somebody else's child. They piss you off, you slap them, you fighting them because you're angry. No, no, no. It should never, ever get to the point to where you got to put your hands on somebody else's child. This is why it's important that you date them for a while. Look at how that child treats them. Basic common sense, y'all. If y'all see somebody else's child treating them with disrespect, what makes you think that person's child is going to treat you with respect? As a stepmother, as a stepfather, you see your companion child talks back to them, disrespects them, comes out their mouth, why would you even think that child is going to respect you? That's why it's important before you go moving in a woman's house who has kids, you move in with a man who has kids, you better be around them for a little while so you can see what kind of relationship they got. Because if they disrespecting the parent, they're definitely going to disrespect you. Yeah, and it does start off awkward. I mean, like I said, I've been married for 19 years. It was pretty awkward for me the first 4 or 5 years. And time went on, the kids got older, eventually people go their separate ways, the kids became grown, everybody moved out. Um, Even though I still don't have a pleasant relationship with his ex-wife to this day, but we don't have the same amount of drama like we used to because the kids are grown now. And that's the good thing. Kids don't stay babies forever. Sooner or later they become grown. Um, you know, and just things change. You don't have the same room for drama like you used to have. So you either can make the best of it or you can make it worse. You just have to, as hard as it is, you have to be the bigger person, and you have to know when to draw a line. For me, I always drew a line, and once that line got crossed, I brought it to my husband's attention. I was not about to allow another woman to disrespect me. I didn't care if she had kids for my husband. It was times where she felt as if I was calling too much of the shots. Um, she had a problem with me because she felt like, my husband would always consent with me on everything, even though they had children together. She couldn't understand why the kids couldn't come every weekend and why we wouldn't just get them and drop on a dime when she wanted us to. And she had a problem with that. She had a problem with me because even though I was younger than her, I was smarter than her. And I just was not about to be manipulated. I was not about to let her run no game on me and come up with all these sob stories. I just wasn't doing it. So because she couldn't manipulate me, she despised me for it. She tried to cause problems in my marriage by basically telling my husband negative things about me. Oh, well, you letting her control you, you letting her run you, these our kids, and you letting her tell you what to do. I'm like, first of all, this is my house. I'm the queen of my castle. Like you are supposed to be the queen of your castle. Just like I can't come to your castle, I can't rule your kingdom. Guess what, boo? You're not gonna rule my kingdom. Kids and no kids. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to piss off the woman who's going to be around your children. Don't disrespect me, because sometimes when you take chances like that, and not to say that I would ever do that, because I would never hurt somebody else's children, but some people, you piss them off, they take it out on your kids. They'll hurt your kids, they'll slap your kids around. People are really psychotic these days. So you got to be careful how you treat how you treat people, because they take it out on your kids. I didn't do that, but I will let my husband know, look, if that's the way she's going to act, guess what? They can't come this weekend. Guess what? I'm not dealing with it, because the last thing you want to do is piss off your significant other, because they're the ones you don't want to piss off your significant other's companion, because they're the ones that are there at times when the father or the mother can't be. And I could never understand for the life of me why these baby mamas want to create drama for the women that is with their baby fathers, because I'm like this, boo, that's a risk. I'm not about to mistreat somebody that's going to be in the presence of my child, that's going to be over my child. Thanks, Gabriel. Appreciate that. Thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate the love. I will accept the love. Thank you. Yeah, it's just too many. Again, if people learn to stay in their lane, we won't have these problems. We got everybody trying to run a show. Everybody wants to lead. No, you just a baby mama. You're not gonna run my house for me. You're not going to place any stipulations. You're not going to decide when your kids could come home over and how often they could come over. You're not going to do that. We decide when it's going to fit our schedule. But you have some women, they really got some nerves. They will pull that crap. They will try to run your household, And the last 2 points I want to make is, ladies, you don't have to acknowledge your title. She already knows who you are, and you constantly have to acknowledge that is only going to display your insecurities. Now, this is one of those things that a lot of you new wives out there, another reason why, and somebody in the chat room mentioned it earlier. I don't know who mentioned it, but a lot of these women, once y'all become married to these men, you have to constantly let the baby mama know you the wife. I'm his wife. I'm his wife. I'm his wife. My thing is, you already know you his wife. You don't have to keep acknowledging it to his baby mama. You know that, he knows that, she knows that. Some of you women are very territorial with your husbands. You think anytime the baby mama is in his face that she's trying to try him or whatever the case is. And let's say if that's the case, once you know your position, another chick can't shake you. They cannot shake you. Once you already know your title and you know what you represent, can't no baby mama or outside chick shake you. Then you can't get shook from your position. You don't have to keep going on and on and on talking about I'm his wife and my opinion matters and my feelings matter. Let me tell you something. If your husband really makes you matter, she's gonna know it without you even have to acknowledge it. She's gonna know it because you got some women, they know, you got some baby mamas, they know they cannot get the father of their children to side with them, period. They're going to respect what their wife has to say. They're going to respect what their fiance has to say. So if you know your position as a wife, you don't have to keep acknowledging it, ladies. The more you have to acknowledge your position, that's the more you are showing your insecurities. And when a woman knows your insecurities, especially a bitter, malicious female, once a malicious ass female knows your insecurities, she's going to use it against you. Just to try to work you over and to upset you and piss you off, she's going to work on your insecurities. And this is the last point. Do whatever it takes to help you keep your sanity in a situation. Realize that although it is very overwhelming, it is temporary. Eventually the kids will become older or something is going to change the circumstances. I tell anybody who's a baby mama or whatever the case is, you're in a situation, you're with a husband, you're with a woman who has kids. Keep in mind, babies don't stay babies forever. Eventually they grow up, they move on, life changes. All of this drama, everything that's a big damn deal right now, I promise you, it's not even going to matter 10 years from now, 5 years from now. Let me tell y'all something. If I would have known then what I know now, I would have not allowed my husband's ex-wife to get me near as upset as many times as she has. I would have not ever allowed myself to stoop to her level to get me that aggravated or upset. Because I promise y'all, what is a big damn deal right now, it's not even going to matter. It's not going to matter a week from now, a month from now. I used to let this chick upset me because she used to pull so many devilish tricks out her sleeve. Anything to try to complicate me and my husband. I would let this chick just really, she became like a yeast infection. She would irritate the hell out of me. This chick would irritate me, yo. Anything to just make me upset. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget, y'all. True story. I'll never forget one time we was planning a party for his second oldest daughter because she's in the military, right? So we was planning a bon voyage party, okay? I was the one who came up with the idea because I told my husband, we need to throw her a going away party. I was really proud of my stepdaughter, going into the military and her accomplishment. So he was like, okay, cool. So my husband was like, you could plan everything. You could do the decorations. My husband left everything on me to do, right? And so what happened was this chick got the whiff of it and she automatically got on her feelings because I was the one that was orchestrating the party. I guess because it was her daughter, she felt like she should have more of a say so. But I'm the one, I was planning this for my stepdaughter. It had nothing to do with her. It had nothing to do with her paying. My thing is, I want to plan a party for her because I want to plan a party. So I knew his ex-wife side of the family was going to want to come, which is only fair. I couldn't, it wouldn't be right for us to just invite my family or his family. Of course, her mom has a family. So by me and his ex-wife not communicating well, and by her always being difficult and malicious and nasty, I couldn't reach out to her. So what I had to do was I had to let my sister-in-law, who still had a relationship with her, I had to get her to be the communicator and tell her, hey, if you can, let her know that if she's going to invite somebody, I need a list of people. So okay, my sister-in-law came back to me with a list with like 10, 15 people. And basically, I had planned to have this function at a restaurant. And the function was where everybody had to pay for their own food. Because originally, that's what she said she wanted. She said whatever function we did, she wanted it to be like a buffet. So everybody could just kind of eat how much they want to eat or whatever. So I took it upon myself to pick a restaurant where I knew the buffet would be good and the prices would be reasonable. So I put the memo out there and she gave us a list of how many people she wanted to come. Okay. She said it would be like 12, 13 people. Okay, we was cool with that. So what happened was, well, let me back this up. Before we decided how many people was going to come, this the main part I almost left out. She wanted to know why other people had to pay for their own food. That was the first thing she got mad about. And my thing was, you told my husband that you wanted a buffet where everybody could kind of pay for their own food. She decided to flip the script and said, I don't think nobody should have to pay for their own food. I think, you know, this needs to be contributed for. So basically, my husband took it upon himself and he said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for everybody. Which I told him, I don't think that's a good idea. I said, are you sure? You just told your ex-wife you gonna pay for everybody. Do you not understand? You just opened a can of worms by telling this chick that. And he was like, well, it's no big deal. She just inviting her family. I'm cool with her family. I said, I understand. But do you realize you opened the door wide when you told this broad you was gonna take care of you was gonna pay for everything? I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I got it. Okay. So when he told me he was going to pay for everything, I wanted us to stick with my plan, which meant everybody pay for their own stuff. I was going to put the menu out there so everybody would know how much they had to pay. I had everything set up. I had sent out thousands of memos letting everybody know that they was going to have to pay for their own meal. She got a whiff of it. She started trying to make it a big issue. So she was like, no, no, why everybody got to pay for their own meal? And I knew she was doing it to be malicious, all because I was the one who was planning the function. So anyway, I said, let's do a list. So my sister-in-law sent me the list and said, okay, that's how many people she invited. So the list originally had like 10, 11 people. Okay, that's reasonable. Don't y'all know, the closer and closer it got to the event, this chick was trying to invite anybody she could think of. Do you know she had her boss on the list? Do you know she had the mailman on her list? Don't you know she had the neighbor across the street on her list? Don't you know she had the lady that used to fix her food in third grade on the list? Just a list full of people. This chick was intentionally trying to add more people to the guest list, all because my husband agreed to pay for everything. Now, if that's not low or dirty, I don't know what is. Okay. So I had to call my husband and I said, look, she trying to be slick and she trying to be conniving. This list went from almost 13 people to every bit of almost 28, 29 people. She was intentionally trying to invite everybody, including President Obama, just to be dirty because my husband agreed to pay for everything. So I had to call my husband and tell him, because I saw what she was doing. And I'm like, do you really think I'm not stupid? Do you really think I was going to sit up here and let my husband pay for all these people? Every day, y'all, the list kept getting longer and longer and longer. Every time I turned around, she was inviting more people before the event even started. So I called my husband. I explained to him. I said, let me tell you something. I told you, you shouldn't agree to pay for everything because this broad trying to invite everybody but the goddamn Pope to this buffet. So sure enough, I said, I know I'm not going to talk to her because it's going to be an argument. You need to nip that in the bud. So he contacted her and he told her, no, I see what you're doing. I'm not paying for all them people. You got your boss. You didn't invite the dog. You didn't invite the cafeteria lady. I'm not paying for all them people. I'm only paying for immediate family. So she had to walk down the hall of shame and call back all of these people who she done invited and tell them, oh, I can't invite you again because he's not paying for you. Yeah, because you tried to be slick and you tried to be conniving and it backfired, you know? So I can give you all kind of stories. I tell you, some of these baby mamas are so goddamn messy, you know, but when you try to be dirty, you bring things upon yourself. You got to deal with what's called karma. When you try to be malicious, you try to be low down, you try to be dirty, you create your own karma. And when I say trust and believe, she has had plenty of her own share of karma. Being so malicious and dirty, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So anyway, you know, I just thought it was imperative that I shared this content with y'all because I've had all kind of people, ladies reaching out to me, you know, guys reaching out to me. I'm a step parent. I don't know what to do. You know, I feel helpless. I feel defeated. Like I said, it's more than one way of dealing with a problem. However you deal with it, make sure you become the peace. You don't become the problem. Make sure you become the solution to the problem versus becoming a problem. So anyway, y'all, I definitely appreciate all of y'all for coming in, hanging out with me. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate the support. Again, for all of y'all who are not aware, I also got 2 more parts left of the Black Love Chronicles. If you have not viewed where I talk about Black love, I broke it into a 5-part series. I've already uploaded 3 parts of that. Make sure you check it out because I'm going to load my last 2 series that are due and I should be finished. Last but not least, if anybody you know is interested in paying cheaper prices for cable, if you're dealing with DirecTV, you're dealing with Dish Network or Comcast, whoever your local provider is, and your cable bill is over $50 a month, if your cable bill is $180, however, I can give you a much cheaper cable package. I can give you 7,000 channels for only $25 a month. Yes, I own my own live streaming cable app where you can get 7,000 channels for only $25 a month. You don't have to pay no late fees. You don't have to pay no sales taxes. You don't have to pay none of that. It's a really good live stream app. It kind of works like Netflix. It works like Hulu. You just have to have a Fire Stick. And you have to have the internet. If anybody's interested, you are welcome to inbox me. I can actually send you a free trial for 24 hours. I could send you free live streaming cable for 24 hours if you are interested. That way you can view it if you decide to purchase it. If you decide you want to get you a cheaper cable provider, it is live cable and it's only $25 a month. I've been with this company for 2 years. And I sound very pleased with their services. The quality of their streaming is high def. And the main part is my cable bill is 20 times cheaper than what it was. So if you're interested in signing up for a free trial and you would like to get a cheaper cable package, definitely hit me up with the details, inbox me, and I'll give you all the information you need. And if you need a free trial, I can give you one. As long as you got a Fire Stick, I can send you a free trial within 5 minutes. So if you're interested, just hit me up. So anyway, y'all, it has been real. Want to thank Rep, want to thank Kels, want to thank 𝐜𝐡𝐚'𝐬. Let me see who else is in here. Let me see, make sure I get everybody. Want to thank Gabriel. Want to thank everybody who was able to chime in and hang out with me today. I want to thank Prince, O'Mill, my sincere Darius. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting my brand, supporting my channel. Again, this is your girl, Lady Mocha. I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and always break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care, and I'll be hollering at y'all soon. Bye.